Good evening, this is STV News. Chinese State Councilor and Foreign Minister Wang will visit Japan for 2 days from Tuesday. Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi said Friday. Motegi and Wang are slated to discuss novel coronavirus measures and a planned resumption of travel between their countries during their meeting Tuesday. Wang will be the first key Chinese government official to visit Japan since the COVID-19 outbreak. The two countries are also arranging a meeting between Wang and Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. Now is the time to put a top priority on bringing the coronavirus epidemic under control, Motegi told a news conference. We are not in the stage of adjusting schedules for a visit to Japan by Chinese President Xi Jinping as a stage guest that has been postponed due to the virus crisis, he added. An interim report from a panel of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party warns that the yen could dive on the foreign exchange market if a fiscal crisis occurs in the nation, GG Press learned Thursday. The Japanese government has been spending massive amounts of funds on measures in the fight against the novel coronavirus crisis. But the government needs to return to the path of fiscal reconstruction from a medium-term perspective, says the report compiled by a project team of the party's headquarters for the promotion of fiscal reconstruction, which is headed by the LDP Policy Research Council Chairman Hakubin Shimomura. The project team, led by former Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry Yuichi Miyazawa, is studying measures to maintain confidence in the Japanese currency. Since its established in November last year, the team has been, among other things, conducting hearings with financial market players. The Japanese government said Friday it has yet to achieve the target of raising the share of female national civil servants in managerial position to 5% by the end of fiscal 2020. As of July, the share of women working as a bureau chief or in a higher post grew by 0.2 percentage point from a year before to 4.4%. The proportion was a record high, but still below the 5% goal. The share of female section chiefs at the head offices of government ministries and agencies rose by 0.6 point to 5.9%, also a record high but below the government's target of 7%. The number of novel coronavirus infection cases newly confirmed in Japan came to 2,388 on Thursday, hitting a record high for the second straight day. The cases were found in 42 countries, 47 prefectures, and at the airport quarantine stations. On Wednesday, the nationwide coronavirus tally stood at 2,201. In Tokyo on Thursday, 534 people were newly found positive with the virus, the first figure above 500 a day for the Japanese capital, with the daily count lagging on all-time high for the second consecutive day. Of the day's total, 130 people are in their 20s, 110 in their 30s, and 96 in their 40s, while people age 65 or over accounted for 69. Infection routes have not been identified for 318 of the total cases. The number of severely ill coronavirus patients in Tokyo stood at 38, down by 1 from Wednesday. Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga on Friday stressed the government's policy of relaxing border control measures strengthened following COVID-19 outbreak, despite the recent domestic resurgence of coronavirus infection. In a video message for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum's CEO Dialogues online event, Suga said the resumption of a cross-border travel is essential for economic recovery. Japan will resume its economic activities globally while fully taking through infection prevention measures, he continued. The Japanese government's National Security Council on Thursday held the first meeting at 4 key ministers since the launch of the administration of Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga in September. Participants discussed latest developments in North Korea, China, and other parts of the world. The 4 ministers' meeting was aimed at making sure that there will be no vacuum in the security situation around Japan, as U.S. President Donald Trump has refused to concede his defeat in the presidential election, leading the transition of power in the United States to be stalled. After the U.S. presidential election, North Korea is showing various moves, such as a sign of resuming military provocations. A Japanese government source said China is also continuing assertive moves, such as having its Coast Guard ships repeatedly intrude into Japanese territorial waters around the Senkaku Island in the East China Sea. Japan's ruling and opposition camps remain apart over the proposed revision of the national referendum law related to constitutional amendment. In Thursday free debate at the Commission on the Constitution of the House of Representatives, the ruling Liberal Democratic Party and its coalition partner Komeito called for the bill to revise the law to be put to a vote quickly in the Diet, Japan's parliament. But the main opposition, Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, voiced opposition, saying that priority should be given to debates on restrictions on television commercials for national referendums on constitutional amendments. The day's session marked the first substantive debate on the matter of the Commission since Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga took office in September. The Japanese government said Friday it has no plans to review its approval of the use of the antiviral drug Remdesivir to treat patients with the new coronavirus. The Health Ministry currently sees no need to review the approval, Chief Cabinet Secretary Katsunobu Kato told a press conference. The remarks came after the World Health Organization earlier on Friday advised against administering Remdesivir to patients with COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus. Kato said that in a recommendation, the WHO recognized the need for more research to offer higher certainty of evidence. The drug was developed by U.S. firm Gilead Sciences Incorporation to treat Ebola. In May, the Japanese government issued the approval under its simplified screening procedures in emergency situation. Toyota Motor Corporation will scrap its practice of hiring new graduates in response to school referrals, it was learned Friday. The leading Japanese automaker will not hire university and graduate school students for technical jobs following referrals and instead accept applications as it already does with non-technical roles, company officials said. The auto industry is undergoing a once-in-a-century major shift due to rising competition to develop next-generation technologies, such as autonomous driving. Japanese automaker Mazda Motor Corporation, Mazda was named the most reliable auto brand for the first time in U.S. magazine Consumer Reports annual ranking released Thursday. Toyota Motor Corporation, Toyota brand came second, followed by its Lexus luxury brand. Honda Motor Corporation, Honda was ranked 5th. Among other Japanese brands, Subaru Corporation, Subaru came 8th, Nissan Motor Corporation, Infiniti 11th, and Nissan 13th. The auto reliability rankings were based on the data collected from owners of more than 300,000 vehicles. And that's all for today. See you tomorrow for another news update.